Self-awareness is one of the most powerful tools a person can possess, yet it is also one of the most underutilized. Think about it. How often do you take the time to reflect on who you are, what you value, and how you show up in the world? Most of us spend our days reacting to the demands of life, checking off to-do lists and chasing goals without pausing to ask if those goals even align with who we truly are. But without self-awareness, we risk living a life that feels busy but empty, productive but purposeless. When Jim Rohn said, "Work harder on yourself than you do on your job," he was talking about self-awareness. He understood that personal growth starts with understanding yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, your motivations, and your blind spots. Without this foundation, any effort at self-improvement becomes aimless. You can't fix what you don't acknowledge, and you can't grow if you don't know where you stand. Self-awareness is the map that guides you on your journey to becoming your best self. One of the most profound aspects of self-awareness is its ability to reveal patterns. Many of us go through life repeating the same mistakes, stuck in the same cycles, and wondering why nothing changes. But when you become self-aware, you start to notice these patterns. You begin to see how your choices, beliefs, and habits contribute to the outcomes in your life. This awareness empowers you to break free from destructive cycles and replace them with behaviors that serve you better. Self-awareness also helps you understand your emotions and how they influence your decisions. Have you ever made a choice out of anger, fear, or insecurity, only to regret it later? When you're self-aware, you can pause and recognize those emotions as they arise. Instead of being controlled by them, you can choose to respond in a way that aligns with your values and long-term goals. This ability to manage your emotions is a hallmark of emotional intelligence, which is deeply rooted in self-awareness. Another powerful benefit of self-awareness is clarity. When you know who you are, you gain clarity about what truly matters to you. This clarity acts as a filter, allowing you to say no to distractions and yes to opportunities that align with your purpose. Without self-awareness, it's easy to get caught up in other people's expectations or societal pressures, pursuing things that don't bring genuine fulfillment. But when you're clear about who you are, you can chart your own path with confidence and conviction. Self-awareness also enhances your relationships. When you understand yourself, you're better equipped to understand others. You become more empathetic, more patient, and more accepting. You're able to communicate your needs and boundaries clearly, and you're less likely to take things personally. Relationships thrive when both parties are self-aware because they can approach challenges with honesty, openness, and mutual respect. It's important to note that self-awareness is not a destination, it's a lifelong journey. As you grow and evolve, so will your understanding of yourself. This is why regular reflection is so important. Whether it's through journaling, meditation, or simply taking a few minutes each day to check in with yourself, these practices help you stay connected to who you are and who you're becoming. The more intentional you are about cultivating self-awareness, the more aligned your life will feel. One of the challenges of self-awareness is facing the parts of yourself that you might not like. It's not always easy to admit that you've made mistakes, hurt others, or fallen short of your own standards. But it's in these moments of honesty that true growth happens. When you can look at yourself without judgment and take responsibility for your actions, you empower yourself to make better choices in the future. Remember, self-awareness is not about perfection, it's about progress. Jim Rohn often emphasized the importance of taking responsibility for your life, and self-awareness is the first step in doing so. When you're self-aware, you stop blaming external circumstances for your problems and start looking within for solutions. You recognize that while you can't control everything that happens to you, you can control how you respond. This shift in perspective is incredibly empowering and can transform the way you approach challenges and setbacks. Self-awareness is the key to unlocking your potential. It allows you to live intentionally, make choices that align with your values, and continuously grow into the person you're meant to be. It's not always an easy journey, but it's one that's worth taking. Because the more self-aware you become, the more capable you are of creating a life that feels authentic, purposeful, and deeply fulfilling. So take the time to get to know yourself. It's the most important investment you'll ever make. Jim Rohn's influence on the world of personal development is both timeless and profound. He wasn't just a motivational speaker, he was a philosopher of life, business, and self-improvement. His ideas continue to shape the way people think about success and personal responsibility. To understand his impact, you only need to look at the countless leaders, entrepreneurs, and thinkers who credit him as a mentor. Tony Robbins, one of the world's most renowned motivational speakers, often speaks about how Jim Rohn changed his life, and this ripple effect has touched millions around the globe. Jim Rohn had a unique way of taking complex ideas and distilling them into simple, actionable principles. His ability to communicate wisdom in a relatable and practical way is what made his teachings resonate with so many people. He didn't speak in abstract theories or lofty ideals. Instead, he used stories, analogies, and personal experiences to deliver truths that were both inspiring and grounded. Whether he was talking about success, discipline, or the value of time, he had a way of making people stop, think, and take action. One of the central themes of Jim Rohn's teachings was personal responsibility. He believed that success starts with the individual and that no one else is responsible for your growth or achievements. His famous quote, "You must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself," serves as a reminder that the power to improve your life lies within you. This mindset shift has inspired countless individuals to stop blaming external factors and start taking control of their own destiny. Another cornerstone of Jim Rohn's influence was his emphasis on daily habits and discipline. He often said, "Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines." Practiced every day, this idea encourages people to focus on small, consistent actions that compound over time. Whether it's reading, exercising, or working on a skill, Jim taught that the little things you do daily have the power to shape your future. His approach made success feel achievable, no matter where someone was starting from, because it was rooted in the idea of progress rather than perfection. Jim Rohn also had a profound way of explaining the importance of mindset and attitude. He believed that how you think about the world and your circumstances directly impacts your ability to succeed. He often said, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." This simple statement encapsulates his philosophy of growth, that life is about becoming stronger, more capable, and more resilient, rather than hoping for an easy path. This mindset of empowerment continues to inspire those who hear it to rise to the challenges they face. One of his most famous ideas is that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This principle of association has become a guiding light for those seeking to elevate their lives. Jim taught that the people you surround yourself with have a significant influence on your beliefs, habits, and ultimately your success. This insight has encouraged countless individuals to audit their relationships and seek out mentors, peers, and friends who inspire growth and positivity. Jim Rohn's influence extended beyond personal development into the realm of business and entrepreneurship. He believed that success in business was an extension of personal success. He often shared his story of working for Earl Shoaff, the man who became his mentor and taught him the principles of wealth and success. Through these lessons, Jim learned and later taught that financial success is a byproduct of providing value, maintaining integrity, and continuously improving oneself. His teachings have inspired entrepreneurs worldwide to build businesses rooted in these values. Another remarkable aspect of Jim Rohn influence is his timelessness. Despite starting his career decades ago, his principles remain just as relevant today as they were then. In a world that's constantly changing, Jim's ideas about discipline, responsibility, and growth are universal truths that stand the test of time. His work serves as a reminder that while technology and circumstances may evolve, the principles of success remain constant. Jim Rohn's influence wasn't just in what he said, but in how he lived. He practiced what he preached, and his life became an example of what's possible when you apply the principles of personal development. He wasn't just a speaker, he was a practitioner of the very ideas he shared with the world. This authenticity is one of the reasons his teachings have resonated with so many people. He didn't just talk about success, he lived it, and he encouraged others to do the same. The most significant aspect of Jim Rohn influence is the legacy he left behind. His teachings have been passed down through generations, not just by those who knew him, but by the countless people who have read his books, watched his seminars, or listened to his recordings. His words continue to inspire action, transformation, and growth in millions of lives. Jim Rohn didn't just teach principles of success, he created a movement of people committed to becoming the best versions of themselves. And that, perhaps, is his greatest gift to the world. Too often, people define themselves by the labels they carry, the roles they play, or the titles they hold. These labels, whether they are tied to your job, your relationships, or your past, can feel like an easy way to answer the question, who are you? But the truth is, you are so much more than those labels. Labels are convenient, yes, but they are limiting. They confine you to a narrow version of yourself, one that often doesn't reflect the full complexity of who you are or who you can become. Consider this when you meet someone new. One of the first questions they usually ask is, "What do you do?" And most of us respond with our job title or profession, as though that is the totality of who we are. If you say, "I'm a teacher" or "I'm an engineer," that's certainly true, but it's not the whole story. You are more than your career. You are your passions, your values, your experiences, and your dreams. When you reduce yourself to a single label, you risk losing sight of all the other incredible facets that make you unique. This tendency to label ourselves often comes from societal pressure. Society tells us that success is tied to our external achievements, like a job title, a degree, or a certain level of income. We internalize these messages and start to see ourselves only through these narrow lenses. If we don't meet those societal expectations, we feel like we failed. But even when we do meet them, we can feel empty because we've spent so much time trying to fit into a box rather than exploring who we truly are. The danger of labels is that they create boundaries. They tell you what you can and cannot do based on the identity you've adopted. For example, if you label yourself as not creative, you might never try painting, writing, or starting a new project, even though creativity is something that exists within everyone. Or if you've always been labeled as the shy one, you might avoid opportunities to speak up, even if you have valuable insights to share. These labels aren't just words, they become self-fulfilling prophecies, shaping your behavior and limiting your potential. Even more insidious are the negative labels we give ourselves based on past experiences. You might think, "I'm a failure because of a setback you've experienced," or "I'm not smart enough because of a mistake you made years ago." These labels stick to us like glue, and over time we start to believe them as though they're absolute truths. But here's the thing, your past does not define your future. Every day you have the opportunity to shed those labels and redefine who you are. Jim Rohn often emphasized the power of personal growth and self-improvement. He taught that you are not static, you are a dynamic being with the ability to change, grow, and evolve. This means that any label you've been given, whether by yourself or by others, is only temporary if you choose to make it so. You are not confined by the opinions of others or the roles you've played in the past. You have the power to create a new story for yourself. Another reason to break free from labels is that they prevent you from fully experiencing life. When you see yourself only as one thing, you miss out on opportunities to explore other parts of yourself. For instance, if you label yourself as a numbers person, you might never try something creative like writing poetry or playing an instrument. But the beauty of life is that it offers infinite possibilities. You don't have to be just one thing, you can be many things. You can be a business person and an artist, a parent, and an adventurer, a thinker, and a doer. Breaking free from labels requires self-awareness and courage. It starts with recognizing the labels you've been carrying and questioning their validity. Ask yourself, is this label helping me or holding me back? Is it truly who I am? Or is it something I've adopted because of others' expectations? Once you become aware of these labels, you can begin to let them go and explore new facets of yourself. This process isn't always easy, but it's incredibly rewarding. It's also important to remember that your worth is not tied to any label. Whether you're the CEO of a company or someone searching for their next job, your value as a human being is the same. You are inherently worthy, not because of what you do or the labels you carry, but because of who you are at your core. When you embrace this truth, you free yourself from the need to prove your worth through external labels, and you start to live a life that feels authentic and meaningful. You are more than your labels because you are limitless. You have the power to grow, to change, and to redefine yourself as often as you need to. You are a work in progress, and that's something to celebrate. So let go of the labels that no longer serve you. Step into the fullness of who you are, and remember that your potential is far greater than any label could ever capture. Life is too expansive to live it confined by a single identity. Embrace the freedom of being more. Belief systems play a fundamental role in shaping every aspect of our lives. They act as the invisible frameworks through which we interpret the world, make decisions, and navigate challenges. Whether we realize it or not, our beliefs about ourselves, others, and life as a whole dictate our thoughts, emotions, and actions. These beliefs can empower us to achieve extraordinary things or hold us back in ways we may not fully understand. Recognizing the role of belief systems is the first step toward creating a life aligned with our highest potential. At the core of every belief system is the question of identity. Who do you believe you are? This is perhaps the most important belief of all because it influences everything else. If you believe you are capable, resourceful, and deserving of success, your actions will reflect those beliefs. Conversely, if you believe you are inadequate or destined to fail, your actions or inactions will align with that narrative. As Jim Rohn often said, you cannot outperform your self-image. Your belief in yourself sets the ceiling for what you can achieve. Belief systems are not just about who you are, they also shape how you perceive the world. If you believe the world is full of opportunities, you'll naturally seek out and capitalize on them. But if you believe the world is unfair, or that success is reserved for a select few, you'll likely sabotage yourself before you even begin. These beliefs act as filters, determining what you notice and how you interpret the events around you. The same situation can be seen as a setback or an opportunity, depending on the belief system of the person experiencing it. One of the most powerful aspects of belief systems is that they are learned, not fixed. No one is born with a predetermined set of beliefs. Instead, we absorb them from our environment, our families, schools, culture, and personal experiences. While this is a natural part of growing up, it also means that many of our beliefs are inherited rather than chosen. This is why it's so important to periodically examine your beliefs and ask whether they truly serve you or if they're limiting you in some way. Unfortunately, many people carry limiting beliefs without even realizing it. These are the silent saboteurs that whisper, "You're not good enough," or "It's too late for you to succeed." They lurk in the background, shaping your choices and actions without your conscious awareness. For example, someone with a limiting belief about money, such as money is the root of all evil, may struggle to achieve financial success, even if they have the skills and opportunities to do so. The belief, not their ability, becomes the barrier. The good news is that belief systems can be changed. It starts with awareness, recognizing the beliefs that are holding you back and understanding how they've influenced your life. From there, you can begin the process of replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones. This often requires challenging old assumptions, seeking evidence to the contrary, and consciously choosing to adopt new perspectives. It's not always easy, but it's one of the most transformative things you can do for yourself. Belief systems also play a crucial role in resilience. When life throws challenges your way, it's your beliefs that determine how you respond. If you believe that failure is a stepping stone to success, you'll pick yourself up and try again. But if you believe that failure defines you, you may give up altogether. This is why cultivating a belief system that supports growth, learning, and perseverance is so important. It equips you with the mental and emotional tools to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and determination. Another fascinating aspect of belief systems is how they influence relationships. What you believe about others, whether they're trustworthy, kind, or selfish, will shape how you interact with them. Similarly, your beliefs about relationships, whether they're meant to be easy or require work, will influence how you approach challenges with your partner, friends, or family. These beliefs often operate subconsciously, but they have a profound impact on the quality of your connections with others. Belief systems also extend to broader areas of life, such as your views on success, happiness, and purpose. If you believe that success requires sacrificing your health or personal life, you may push yourself to exhaustion. But if you believe that success is about balance and fulfillment, you'll make different choices. Similarly, if you believe that happiness comes from external achievements, you may chase goals endlessly without ever feeling truly satisfied. On the other hand, if you believe happiness is an internal state, you'll prioritize practices that cultivate inner peace and joy. Belief systems are the foundation of your reality. They shape what you see, how you feel, and what you do. The beauty of this truth is that you have the power to change your beliefs, and by doing so, you can change your life. As Jim Rohn often said, if you don't like how things are, change them. You're not a tree. By becoming intentional about your beliefs and choosing ones that empower you, you can create a life that reflects your highest aspirations. It all begins with the willingness to question, challenge, and evolve. The influence of others is one of the most significant forces shaping who we are and the choices we make. From the moment we are born, we begin absorbing the beliefs, behaviors, and attitudes of those around us. This influence starts with our families and gradually expands to include friends, teachers, colleagues, and even the media. Whether we realize it or not, the people we surround ourselves with have a profound impact on our thoughts, emotions, and actions. Understanding this influence is crucial because it allows us to take control of the relationships and environments that shape our lives. Jim Rohn famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." This simple yet powerful idea highlights the importance of carefully choosing the people we allow into our lives. The attitudes, habits, and values of those closest to us inevitably rub off on us, whether positively or negatively. If you spend time with people who are ambitious, optimistic, and growth-oriented, you're likely to adopt similar traits. On the other hand, if your circle is filled with negativity, complacency, or doubt, it can be incredibly difficult to rise above those influences. One of the most subtle yet pervasive ways others influence us is through their expectations. Whether spoken or unspoken, the expectations of others can shape how we see ourselves and what we believe we're capable of. For example, a parent or teacher who expresses confidence in a child's abilities can instill a sense of self-belief that propels the child towards success. Conversely, when someone is surrounded by people who doubt or underestimate them, those negative expectations can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, limiting their potential. The influence of others is particularly powerful in shaping our belief systems. Many of the beliefs we hold about ourselves, about success, and about the world are not entirely our own. They are often inherited from the people and environments we grew up in. For instance, if you were raised in a family that valued hard work and perseverance, you're likely to carry those beliefs into adulthood. But if you grew up in an environment filled with fear or scarcity, those beliefs might unconsciously shape your decisions until you take the time to examine and challenge them. Another way others influence us is through their energy and emotions. Have you ever noticed how spending time with a cheerful, upbeat person can lift your mood, while being around someone who is constantly complaining can drain your energy? Emotions are contagious, and the people you interact with on a regular basis have a significant impact on your mental and emotional state. This is why it's so important to surround yourself with people who inspire and uplift you rather than bring you down. The power of influence also extends to habits and behaviors. Humans are social creatures, and we tend to mirror the actions of those around us. If your friends prioritize health and fitness, you're more likely to adopt similar habits. Conversely, if your social circle engages in unhealthy or unproductive behaviors, you may find yourself following suit without even realizing it. This phenomenon highlights the importance of aligning yourself with people whose habits reflect the kind of life you want to live. It's important to note that influence isn't always obvious or immediate. Sometimes it's subtle and cumulative, building over time until it becomes a powerful force in your life. For example, a mentor who consistently challenges you to think bigger can gradually expand your vision of what's possible. Similarly, a friend who subtly discourages your ambitions can slowly erode your confidence. This is why awareness is key. Being mindful of the influence others have on you allows you to make conscious choices about who you spend your time with. Social media and technology have added a new dimension to the influence of others. Today we are exposed to the opinions, lifestyles, and values of countless people through platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. While this connectivity offers incredible opportunities for inspiration and learning, it also comes with risks. Comparing yourself to others online can lead to feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt, especially when you're only seeing curated versions of their lives. It's crucial to approach social media mindfully and remember that not everything you see reflects reality. While the influence of others can be powerful, it's also a two-way street. Just as others influence you, you have the ability to influence those around you. Your words, actions, and attitudes have the power to inspire, motivate, or discourage others. This is both a responsibility and an opportunity. By becoming the kind of person who uplifts and empowers others, you not only improve your own life, but also contribute positively to the lives of those around you. The influence of others is a reminder of the importance of choice. While you can't always control who crosses your path, you can control who you allow to remain in your life. Be intentional about surrounding yourself with people who challenge you to grow, believe in your potential, and encourage you to strive for your best. At the same time, be mindful of the influence you have on others and strive to be a positive force in their lives. By doing so, you create an environment of mutual growth, support, and inspiration that benefits everyone involved. Taking responsibility for your identity is one of the most profound and transformative decisions you can make. It means owning who you are, what you stand for, and who you aspire to become. Many people go through life allowing their identity to be shaped by circumstances, the opinions of others, or past experiences. But true personal growth begins when you take ownership of your narrative and consciously decide who you want to be. This process requires self-awareness, courage, and a willingness to step away from the comfort of old patterns. One of the first steps in taking responsibility for your identity is recognizing that you are not defined by your past. Too often, people allow past mistakes, failures, or traumas to dictate how they see themselves. They carry labels like failure, unworthy, or not good enough, letting those labels limit their potential. But your past does not have to define your future. Every day is an opportunity to rewrite your story, to let go of old identities that no longer serve you, and to create a version of yourself that aligns with your values and dreams. Taking responsibility for your identity also means letting go of the need for external validation. Many people shape their identities based on what others expect or approve of. They strive to meet societal standards, family expectations, or peer pressure, often at the expense of their authentic selves. But true fulfillment comes from living in alignment with who you really are, not who others think you should be. This requires courage to break free from the need for approval and to trust in your own values and vision for your life. Another important aspect of this process is identifying and challenging limiting beliefs. These are the internal narratives that tell you what you can or cannot do, often rooted in childhood or past experiences. For example, you might believe you're not smart enough to pursue a certain career or too old to start a new chapter in life. These beliefs can feel like facts, but they are merely stories you've told yourself over time. Taking responsibility for your identity means questioning these beliefs and replacing them with empowering ones that support your growth. Self-awareness is crucial when taking responsibility for your identity. It requires you to look inward and ask difficult questions. What do I truly value? What kind of person do I want to be? What am I willing to stand for? This process isn't always comfortable because it forces you to confront areas of your life where you may have been living on autopilot or compromising your authenticity. But without self-awareness, it's impossible to take meaningful ownership of your identity. Taking responsibility also involves setting boundaries. As you define who you are, you'll inevitably encounter situations or relationships that conflict with your values and vision. It's essential to protect your identity by saying no to things that don't align with the person you want to become. This might mean distancing yourself from negative influences, declining opportunities that don't fit your goals, or asserting your needs in relationships. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's a necessary part of honoring your authentic self. The journey of owning your identity isn't about perfection, it's about progress. There will be times when you fall back into old habits or question your decisions. But what matters is your commitment to continually realign with your true self. Growth is a process, and it's okay to make mistakes along the way. Every setback is an opportunity to learn, adjust, and move forward with greater clarity and resolve. Taking responsibility for your identity also means embracing the power of choice. While you can't control everything that happens to you, you can control how you respond and who you choose to become. You are not a passive participant in your life, you are its architect. This realization is empowering because it reminds you that you have the ability to shape your identity and your future regardless of your starting point or circumstances. Another key element of this process is consistency. It's not enough to define your identity in theory, you must live it out through your actions. Your habits, decisions, and behavior should align with the person you want to be. For example, if you identify as someone who values integrity, you must consistently act in ways that reflect that value even when it's difficult. Over time, these consistent actions reinforce your sense of identity and help you build the life you envision. Taking responsibility for your identity is an act of self-empowerment. It's about stepping into your full potential and living a life that feels authentic and meaningful. It requires effort and introspection, but the rewards are immeasurable. When you take ownership of your identity, you gain clarity, confidence, and a deeper sense of purpose. You stop being a bystander in your own life and become the person you were always meant to be. It's a journey worth taking because it leads to a life of fulfillment, authenticity, and true self-expression. Life is full of moments that call us to rise, to act, and to step into the potential that resides within us. The call to action is not just about making changes or taking a leap, it's about recognizing that every single day offers an opportunity to align with your purpose and create a life of meaning. It's easy to stay in the comfort of routine or the safety of familiarity, but growth and transformation happen only when you answer the call to action. This moment right here is an invitation to take the first step toward becoming the person you are meant to be. Answering the call to action starts with a decision. It's a decision to no longer accept less than what you are capable of, to no longer settle for mediocrity, and to no longer let fear dictate your choices. You don't have to know every step of the journey or have everything figured out. What matters is the willingness to begin, to take one step forward, no matter how small. Action creates momentum, and momentum creates change. The hardest part is starting, but once you do, you'll find that the path begins to unfold before you. There is power and urgency, and the call to action demands it. Time is finite, and the longer you wait to take action, the more opportunities you let slip away. It's easy to tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow, or I'll wait for the right moment, but the truth is, there is no perfect time. The right moment is the one you create by acting now. Every day you delay is a day lost, but every day you act is a step closer to the life you want to live. The call to action reminds you that time is precious, and the time to act is now. Fear is often the greatest obstacle to answering the call to action. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, and fear of the unknown can paralyze you and keep you stuck in the same place. But fear is not a signal to stop, it's a signal to move forward. Fear means you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and that's where growth happens. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to act despite it. When you choose to face your fears, you gain strength, confidence, and the realization that you are capable of far more than you imagined. The call to action also requires clarity. You need to know what you're working toward and why it matters to you. Without a clear vision, it's easy to get lost or distracted along the way. Take the time to define your goals, your values, and your purpose. What do you want to achieve? Who do you want to become? Why does it matter? When you have clarity, you have a sense of direction. And that makes it easier to take purposeful, consistent action. Clarity fuels commitment, and commitment fuels results. It's important to remember that the call to action doesn't always require grand gestures or drastic changes. Sometimes it's the small, consistent actions that create the biggest impact over time. A single step taken every day can lead to extraordinary transformation. Whether it's committing to a daily habit, learning a new skill, or reaching out to someone who inspires you, the cumulative effect of small actions can be life-changing. The key is consistency, showing up for yourself every day, even when it's hard, even when progress feels slow. Support is another critical element of answering the call to action. No one achieves greatness alone, and the journey becomes much easier when you surround yourself with people who uplift, inspire, and challenge you. Seek out mentors, friends, or communities that align with your values and vision. These relationships provide encouragement, accountability, and the belief that you can achieve what you've set out to do. The right people in your corner can make all the difference, reminding you of your potential when self-doubt creeps in. The call to action also involves letting go of what no longer serves you. This might mean releasing old habits, negative thought patterns, or toxic relationships that hold you back. Growth requires space, and you can't move forward if you're clinging to the past. Letting go is not always easy, but it's necessary. It creates room for new opportunities, new perspectives, and new possibilities. By freeing yourself from what weighs you down, you can focus your energy on what truly matters. Answering the call to action is not just about achieving goals, it's about becoming. Every step you take brings you closer to the person you are meant to be. The journey itself is transformative, teaching you resilience, discipline, and self-belief. It's not just about what you accomplish, but about the growth, wisdom, and strength you gain along the way. The call to action is an invitation to live fully, to embrace the challenges and joys of the journey, and to create a life that reflects your highest potential. In the end, the call to action is about living with intention. It's about choosing to take responsibility for your life and refusing to let circumstances or excuses dictate your future. It's about recognizing that you have the power to create change, to overcome obstacles, and to achieve greatness. The journey may not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. So take the first step. Trust in your ability to figure it out along the way. The life you want is within your reach, but it starts with answering the call to action.